guys about my makeup look for today. I'm a little bit formal tonight because I actually went to temple services with my mom and my brother tonight because it is Rosh Hashanah. For whoever celebrates, happy Rosh Hashanah. And I also had my Apple interview earlier today, so I've actually had my makeup on for quite a while today. It kind of smudged a little bit on underneath. I don't know how that happened, but I'm still ready to take it off. So I primed my eyes with the Anastasia eye primer and just use the Ami Colé lip oil, and then I set my eyes with my Dior Backstage powder. Also, I'm not sure if this is the last look of the video because I didn't check because I'm trying to get my makeup off and get this dress off. So, and then for my interview today, and also I wanted to wear this to services anyway, I went in with the Natasha Denona My Dream palette today because I wanted to go in with more so of a smoky look today, and also I kind of wanted to go into this palette again, and I want to go into some of my other Natasha Denona palettes this week. So I used the shade Nurture in the crease. Then I darkened up the crease more with Aspiration, and then I used Black is Black on the outer corners. And then for the lid, I wanted to go into the shade Serenity, and believe it or not, Serenity is the only shade that I haven't used in this palette more than twice when it comes to the shimmers, so I finally did. And then for the lower lash line, I went in with Nurture again, and then for the inner corners I used the shade Spontaneous, and that's everything I used from this palette, and this is my all-time favorite Natasha Denona palette. So yeah, that's what I used today. And then for my waterline, I used the Makeup by Mario black liner, and then for my mascara, of course, I went into my Valentino mascara. I love this mascara. And then I went in with the Essence Lash Primer and then the Maybelline Lash Discovery on the bottom lashes. And then for my face, I went into the Do It Spray, of course, and then I used the e.l.f. Power Grip Primer. It's just my best long-wearing primer. And then for my foundation, I swear I love this foundation. Every time I wear it, I just am reminded of how much I love it, and that I wore the Makeup Forever HD Skin Undetectable Stay True foundation, and this is in the shade 1RO2. I love this foundation. It still looks beautiful on the skin. It's just a great foundation. I love it. And then for my concealer, I went in with the Makeup Forever HD Skin Smooth and Blur Undetectable Concealer in the shade 3D01. I still love this combo. It just started creasing around this time, so honestly it lasted a pretty long time. But over the last couple of hours it started creasing, but honestly it held up so well throughout the day. And then I set my under eyes with my Pat McGrath powder, and then again I set my face with my Dior Backstage powder. And then for my bronzer, blush, and highlight, I went into my Christian Dior highlighter. I did use the highlighter too, but I went into the, what is this called? Natural Bronzer in the shade 04 Tan Bronze. I'm not sure if they have this available anymore, but it's one of my favorite bronzers, and I haven't used it in a hot second. And as you can see, the Dior is completely gone because I've used this bronzer a ton. But I actually hadn't used it in a hot second, so I wanted to use it today. And then for my blush, I just went into my favorite blush ever, and that's the Pat McGrath Labs blush in the shade Desert Orchid. I actually don't think I've used this since California, and that was 3 months ago, because obviously I've been testing other blushes and buying blushes nonstop lately, so I just wanted to go into an oldie but a goodie. And then for my highlighter, I went into the Dior highlighter in the shade 01 Nude Glow. I have no idea if they have this available still either, but it's such a pretty natural highlighter. I really love it. And then I set my face with my Milk Makeup setting spray, and then I set my brows with my e.l.f. Wow Brow. And then for my lips, I just went in with my Pat McGrath Labs lip liner in the shade Structure, and then I just went into my most bougie lipstick, which is the Tom Ford lip color in the shade 01 Blush Nude. I still love this lipstick. It looks so pretty. It's not too pink. It's like a blushy nude. It's literally just so self-explanatory, and I love that it actually translates as that color on your lips. I'm really tired, if I'm not making any sense. And also I went and got my nails done before the interview, so I got these rose print nails, and I'm like obsessed with them. So yeah, that's it. Bye. Okay, so hey, just want to tell you guys about my makeup look for today. I'm pretty fucking tired. I went over my friend's new place, check out his new apartment. Then we went out to dinner and got some drinks, and we also went to Target and 7-Eleven so he could get some essentials for his place. So it was fun. The place that we went to eat was really, really good. I'm just super tired now. So I primed my eyes with the Anastasia eye primer, and then I used the Micole lip oil, and then I set my eyes with the Urban Decay Stay Naked powder. And then for my eyes, I went in with the Fantasy Cosmetica Druid palette again today. And I used the last shade that I needed to use in this palette. And honestly, I'm loving this palette. I think the quality is spectacular. So I used this shade Sage in the crease. The shade Sage. Then I darkened up the crease more with Forest. And then I used Old Growth on the outer corners. I basically did like the same look as I did the last time with the greens. But the greens are such beautifully pigmented mattes. And then I just used Balance on the lid finally. So that was the last shade I needed to use in here. So now I've tested out all the shimmers, and they're all so stunning. But this shade Balance was like the shade that I really wanted to use first. But of course, like sometimes it ends up that I end up not being able to use the shade that I want to use the most until last. But I finally used it, and it was freaking stunning on the lid, and now I understand why that was my favorite shade and why I was gravitated towards this one first. It's such a stunning, like, multi-chrome on the lid, I feel like. Not really multi-chrome, maybe like trio chrome. It's like greenish, it's just greenish, goldish sparkliness. It's so beautiful on the lid. I can't even describe how many shifts it has. And then I just used Serenity on the inner corners this time, and it was stunning. So happy I tested out all the shades, and I was originally not going to use this until, like, it was going to be, like, more so fall, but I feel like it's definitely been feeling like more fall this past weekend here in New York. It's definitely been cooler out this weekend, so I decided to use it. And also, I kept on gravitating back to it because it's such a beautiful quality to the eyeshadows. And then I just used Brighter Days on the brow bone. I also have a headache, so I'm trying to like lower the light because it's giving me like a headache. And then for my waterline, I just used Makeup by Mario's black liner again. And then for my lashes, I just used my Give by Gwen Stefani mascara, my little mini. And I also used the Essence Lash Primer, and then I just used the Maybelline Lash Discovery on the bottom lashes. And then for my face, I primed with my e.l.f. Power Grip Primer, and then of course I used the Do It Spray. And then for my foundation, I wanted to go back in with the Glossier foundation again. So this is the Glossier Stretch Fluid Foundation in the shade Very Light. So I just wanted to use that guy again, and it looks beautiful on the face. And then for my concealer, I went in with the Makeup by Mario concealer again. This is the shade 120. I just wanted to use it today, and it looked really good underneath the eyes. I just ended up laughing a lot with my friends, so my face was like kind of cracked a little bit, and it creased a little bit underneath my eyes, but that's fine. That was my fault because I was laughing so much. And then I set my under eyes with the Pat McGrath Labs powder, and then I set my face with the Urban Decay Stay Naked powder again. And then for my bronzer, I used my Pat McGrath Labs bronzer in the shade Naked Desire. Just wanted to use that guy. And then for my blush, I actually went into a blush that I haven't used in so long, and I was like, you know what? This used to be one of my favorite fall blushes, and I haven't used it in forever. So this is the Burt's Bees blush in the shade Toasted Cinnamon. I got turned on to this blush because of Kathleen Lights. She mentioned this in a video. And I thought I had the peach shade as well. But I wanted to use Toasted Cinnamon today, and it's such a beautiful fall blush, so I'm glad I used that. Even though it's not officially fall yet, I'm starting to feel a bit of the fall vibes. I'm not like, oh my god, it's fall as soon as September hits, because it's pretty hot here until like mid-September, but like again, like it's gonna be like in the 70s and then like the 60s at night this week. So I was like, it's kind of feeling like fall. And then for my highlight, I used the Hocus Pocus 2 highlighter from ColourPop in the shade Find the Book. This is such a stunning highlighter, you guys. This is one of their best soul body highlighters. It's just such a beautiful formula. If all of them were like this, I would be obsessed with all of them. I really love this one, and I also love the You're a Catch one from the Blush Crush collection, and I also really love the one from the Barbie collection. That one is a beautiful highlighter. They're all really nice, but some of the other ones aren't like the greatest, but mostly overall they're pretty good. This one's my favorite. It just has such a beautiful light formula, and it's so beautifully shiny on the cheeks without being like too intense, but it's just so beautiful. And then I set my face with the Milk Makeup setting spray, and then I set my brows with the e.l.f. Wow Brow. And then for my lips, I used my ColourPop lippy pencil in the shade Beeper. I wanted to use a little bit of a lippy pencil that I haven't used in a while. And then for my lips, I went in with the Kat Von D liquid lipstick in the shade Bow and Arrow. I haven't used this in a hot second. This used to be like one of my go-to lippies, especially for the fall time. And it just looks so pretty, and it just like really makes the look. So yeah, that's it. I gotta go because my head is killing me, and I have work tomorrow early, so bye. Okay, so hey there guys, wanted to tell you guys about my makeup look for today. I just got home from work at like 5:45. I'm pretty tired, so but I actually got a couple of compliments on my eyeshadow today, which was very surprising because I actually thought it didn't look that great. It's so funny, like, the days that you think that your makeup doesn't look that good is when everybody's like, wow, your makeup looks great. So, and I actually had to redo the eyeshadow this morning, which delayed me even more to get to work on time because for some reason the crease shade that I was using was like totally skipping. And then when I tried to put on the defining shade, it was like taking the crease shade off. So I had to redo it. You just cover, if you have like a opaque primer, because I use the Anastasia eye primer every time I work and every time I go out, so like the eyeshadows really pop, you just put that over it instead of completely removing it. You just put that primer over. So like the Anastasia eye primer, since it has like a cream colored base to it and it's not like completely clear, it just cancels out that color. So I just used the Anastasia eye primer again to cover that up. And then I of course, use the Micole lip oil, and then I set my eyes with the Dior Backstage powder. And then for my eyes today, I decided to go into a palette that I just didn't get a chance to use this summer. And I was like, you know what? It would be really pretty with this sweatshirt that I was wearing today. So I went in with the Give Me Glow Extra Spicy palette. This is usually like one of my go-to eyeshadow palettes for the summertime. Like I did get quite a bit of use out of this last summer. But since I got, you know, another 15 eyeshadow palettes added to my collection this year, I didn't really get to use it, but there's still a few days of summer left, and this is usually like my favorite summer palette. So initially I went in with the shade Mild, but it just was not working and it was not blending. It was like literally there was like parts of it that were like missing in this crease area, so I just canceled that and covered it up. And I just went in with the shade Spicy Peach Martini instead of the crease, and it looks so pretty. And then I darkened up the crease more with Flaming Hot, which is like a really vibrant orange shade. And then I used the shade Chili Pepper on the outer corners. And then I went in on my lid, I went in with the shade On Fire, which is such a beautiful, like super fiery orange. And then, of course, I used Blend Bunny Cosmetics Forget Me Not palette, and I used the shade Brighter Days. And it's such a good brow bone highlight because it also like, because when that eyeshadow was still underneath, and then I just used Ghost Pepper from here, from this palette on the inner corners, and that's everything I used from this palette. But when that crease shade was still on, and I put the Anastasia primer over it, it kind of showed a bit through my brow bone highlight, like on my brow bone. So when I put the Forget Me Not color on from Blend Bunny, it like completely canceled that out, and it just covered it up in such a beautiful way. So I thought that was great. And then for my waterline, I used the ColourPop cream gel liner in the shade Peach Fuzz. And then for my mascara, I actually went in with a sample that my mom got. She probably like ordered like another one of her blushes again, and usually NARS and Chanel, like she usually, those are like the only two makeup brands that she orders from, always give like free mascara samples with like every order. So I just used the Essence Lash Primer, of course, and then I went in with the NARS Climax Mascara. I haven't had this mascara in a long time, so I decided to use this today. And then I used the Maybelline Lash Discovery on the bottom lashes, as always. And then for my face, I went in with the Do It Spray from ColourPop, of course, and then I used my e.l.f. Power Grip Primer. And then for my foundation, I just went in with one of my favorites, which is the Haus Labs Triclone Skin Tech Foundation in the shade 050 Fair Cool. And then I went in with the Haus Labs Concealer. I just love these two together so much, so I wanted to wear it again. And I love how this foundation makes my skin look. It always looks so beautifully natural, but gives you the most beautiful coverage. And this is in the shade 01 Fair Neutral. And then I set my under eyes with the Pat McGrath Labs powder. And then I set my face with the Dior Backstage powder. And then for my bronzer, I just went in with my Haus Labs bronzer in the shade Light Level 1. Just because I always use it when I use the Haus Labs foundation. And then for my blush, I used the Give by Gwen Stefani Feelin' Cheeky Amplifying Blush Duo in the shade Flirty Talk. And it's just this color right here. I just blended these two shades together. I try not to keep it open too long because the fragrance is insanely strong. And then for my highlight, I went into the Odenzai Cosmetics Soul Mane highlighter palette, and I went in with the two like warmer shades. I don't know how to pronounce them, and I don't even think they have this palette available anymore. But I went in with these two shades just mixed together, and they're just such a pretty highlight. It's still on my cheeks, and it looks beautiful. And then I set my face with the Milk Makeup Spray again, and then I set my brows with the e.l.f. Wow Brow, of course. And then for my lips, I went in with the ColourPop lip liner in the shade Minute Man. It's always my go-to when I do a warm tone lippy. And then for my lips, I actually went in with a new lippy today because I actually bought this when I exchanged the Haus Labs concealer that I bought, because since they had it in the store, I also ordered it when it launched on Sephora. Not the soft launch on the app, but the like official launch. I just wanted to make sure that I got it if they didn't have it in my store, because not every store gets every product the day that it launches. So but since I had gotten it in the store, I was just using the one that I used in store or from the store, so I could return the one that I ordered online by the time it came. So I exchanged it for this lippy. So this is the Glossier, I don't even know what these are called. But it's just their liquid lipsticks, and this is in the shade Curve. I cannot read the font. It's so small on the bottom, but it's such a pretty, like, light orangey shade, and it feels like a lip cloud. It's so comfortable on the lips. I really did enjoy wearing it. It's not the most long-lasting opaqueness on the lips, but it's very, very comfortable. So I really, really like it so far. So I'm glad I got to wear that today. That's the first time I've worn it since I purchased it. So yeah, that's it. Bye. I need to eat dinner because I'm starving. So bye. Okay, so hey there guys, I wanted to tell you guys about my makeup look for today. If I seem to feel or look a little bit uncomfortable, it's because I am, because I have a bunch of patches on my back right now because I went to the allergist today to get my patch test done to figure out what the heck I'm allergic to in my skincare, because I've told you guys I've had 2 reactions to skincare now. So I had my appointment today to get the patches applied to my back. And they're just a little bit uncomfortable and a little bit tight feeling, and they make me feel very fatigued. So I tried to film a video earlier, but I had to stop like halfway through because it started feeling really uncomfortable. But I just laid down and I started to feel better. So I just feel like I need to get more rest. And I didn't really sleep last night anyway. So yeah, I primed my eyes with the ColourPop Party Proof Primer. And then I just set my lips with the, I just coated my lips with the Amicole Lip Oil. And then I set my eyes with the ColourPop Pretty Fresh Powder. I took my lippy off earlier. I already recorded a clip of what my makeup looked like earlier before I laid down because I just needed to take off my lipstick and lay down for a little while because it was just starting to feel really uncomfortable that I almost felt nauseous. So I was like, I need to just lay down and stop filming. So, and then for my eyes, I used the ColourPop Rock On palette again because I wanted to use the last shade that I hadn't used yet on the lid. This is such a good palette, you guys. I am so happy that I picked up this palette because I really have been enjoying it. So I used Rock My World in the crease. Then I darkened up the crease more with Fave Hike, right? Yeah, and then I used Trail Mix again on the outer corners. And then for the lid, I finally tested out the last shimmer in the palette, which is Vortex. And it's such a pretty, like, shimmery white. And then for the inner corners, I just used the shade Chasing Sunsets, and that's all I used from the palette. Such an easy, simple, warm tone look, and I loved it. I also was supposed to see my boyfriend after the patch test today, but I was like, I am feeling like shit. And also, again, I didn't really sleep well, so I was like, I just need to go home because they weren't really uncomfortable, and when they first put them on, they started feeling uncomfortable after like 2 hours of being home, so I was like, I just need to rest. And then for my waterline, I just used my LA Girl brown liner, and then for my mascara, I just used my ColourPop Act Natural mascara on the top lashes, and then I used the Lash Discovery on the bottom lashes. Yeah, no, I didn't use the Act Natural, I'm sorry, I used the Milani highly rated anti-gravity mascara because I hadn't used this in a little while, and it's still a pretty good mascara. And of course I used the Essence Lash Primer, and then for my face I primed with the Do It spray, and then I just used the Rare Beauty Illuminating Primer. This has been one of my favorite primers lately. And then for my face I just used the e.l.f. Halo Glow Liquid Filter. I just wanted really light coverage today. I still love this. It still looks so beautiful on the skin, even though it's been on for like 6 hours. It gives like such a natural glow to the skin. It's just so beautiful. And then I decided to go into the coinciding e.l.f. Hydrating Camo Concealer because I really love how this looks with the e.l.f. Halo Glow because it adds more coverage. This is so pretty on its own though, but you guys know I always put concealer on and it just looks so pretty with that. So I love the combo both together. And then I set my under eyes with the Becca Hydra Mist powder, and then I set my face with the ColourPop Pretty Fresh powder again. And then for my bronzer, I just used my ColourPop Alviva Beach bronzer just because like it's just super easy and simple for me to grab for, so I just used that guy. And then for my blush, I wanted to go back into the Pat McGrath Labs blush stick. So this is the Pat McGrath Labs Divine Blush Legendary Glow Color Bomb in the shade Peach Lotus. It's kind of faded at this point, but it's just a really easy, like very light, super light pigmented stick blush, so I think it's pretty. But I also wanted to test it out again before I do my cream blush video because I've only used it twice before, but it's nice and I like this a lot more than the Ilia one. And then for my highlight, I went into the Aether Beauty Pure Diamond Dust highlighter. I know that Aether Beauty is no longer going to be a beauty company anymore, which kind of sucks, but this is literally like the only product I've ever purchased from Aether Beauty because Tara Babes used to like rave about that product, and then I bought it because of her, and it's a stunning highlighter, so I just felt like using it today because I hadn't used it in a while. And then I set my face with my Do It spray again, and then I set my brows with the ColourPop Brow Boss Gel, and then for my lips I just used my ColourPop Velvet Lip Blur lipstick in the shade Bloom to Bloom because I just wanted an easy nude shade. And yeah, that's pretty much it, you guys. So bye. Okay, so hey there, guys. I wanted to tell you guys about my makeup look for today. My back is feeling way better today with the patches. It's not really feeling as tight, so that's good. So I'm just gonna go to my boyfriend's house today. I actually slept last night for the first time in like almost 3 days, so I passed out in like 5 minutes. I was so tired. So I primed my eyes with the ColourPop Party Proof Primer, and then I used the Amicole Lip Oil, and then I set my eyes with the Pretty Fresh Powder, of course, from ColourPop. And then I just decided to combine a couple of Oden's Eye palettes today. So I used these 3 palettes. So I used the Red Dragon from It's Judy Time. I used the Batty Bean Planet Spirit palette, and I used the Hella palette from Angelica Nyquist. So I tried to use at least 2 to 3 shades from every palette except for the lid shade. Because I really just wanted to use this lid shade with neutral shadows, so I decided to use a few shades from other Oden's Eye palettes. So I went into the shade Sunrise first in the crease from the Red Dragon palette, and then I went into the Hella palette and used the shade Wolf right here to define the crease. And then for the outer corners, I used the shade Aurora from the Judy Time palette just on the outer part. And then for, to deepen it up more, because like the Aurora shade wasn't exactly layering that well. I don't know why. It's probably just because of my brushes that they're not clean. So I just went over it a little bit with the shade Suit from the, why is that so blurry? From the, that just looks weird. Let's hold it up here. From the Hella palette just to darken it up even more, and that seemed to layer pretty well over it. So I just used both of those shades. And then for the lid shade, I wanted to go into the Planet Spirit palette, and I really wanted to use the shade Majestic from this palette. That's the only shade I used from this palette because I've been wanting to use that shade with neutral shadows, and it looks so pretty. So I've actually been getting more use out of this palette than I have expected, but also that gold shade is just so beautiful. So I wanted to, again, pair it with neutral shades. So, because it's a gold, and y'all know how much I love my golds. And then for the inner corners, I went back into the Hella palette again, and I used the shade Golden Bridge right here, and I put that on the inner part, and it's such a beautiful, like, vibrant yellowy gold, but it worked so well with this look. And then for the lower lash line, I just went back into Wolf again from the Hella palette as well. And then for the like very inner part of the lower lash line, in between the inner corner and the outer lower lash line shade, I went in with the shade Solar Flare from the Judy Time palette, and I really like how it turned out with combining these 3, and I just really wanted to use some of the collab palettes again from Oden's Eye because Angie just announced her new collection with Oden's Eye, which is really cool. I hope the next time around though that they do work with some other influencers. Like, I'm dying for them to do a palette with Morgan Turner, Karen Harris, and Leah Janine, I believe her name is. I don't really watch her as much as I watch Morgan and Karen, but I think that Morgan and Karen like deserve a collab with Oden's Eye like 100,000%, and Leah deserves it too. I think that would be such an awesome trio because like I know that they usually do trio palettes. Like the first Legendary Diversa collection was Judy, Annette, and Tina, and then they had Angelica's palette, of course, which is this one, and then they did the Perfect World collection with Batty Bean, Lauren, May, and Makeup Just for Fun. So anyway, so then for the waterline, I just used my brown liner from LA Girl, and then for my I just used my Essence Lash Primer, and then I wanted to just use my Tower 28 mascara today, so I just used that, and then I just used the Lash Discovery on the bottom lashes, and then for my face, I used the Do It spray, of course, and then I just went back in with the Rare Beauty Illuminating Primer, the same primer I used yesterday because I love that guy. And then for my foundation, I wanted to use the Soul Body Foundation from ColourPop. And I always forget how beautiful this looks on my skin. It's just such a beautifully natural foundation, and it's so skin-like, even though they claimed it was full coverage. I actually love the way that the finish on my skin of it, that it's not full coverage. I love it. And then for my concealer, I just went into the Tower 28 concealer again. I hadn't used it in a few days, so I wanted to use it today. And then I just set my under eyes with the, oh my god, there's so much shit in this drawer now. Jesus, just cannot close it. I just set my under eyes with the Becca Hydra Mist powder, and then I set my face with the ColourPop Pretty Fresh powder, of course. And then for my bronzer, I wanted to go into my Ilia bronzer in the shade Drawn In, so I just used that. And then for my blush and highlight, I went into two Urban Decay products. I went into the Urban Decay Afterglow blush in the shade Kinky. I love this shade. It's such a beautiful warm tone blush. And then for my highlight, I wanted to use the shade Sin, which is from the Afterglow highlighters, and it's such a stunning like pale highlight. Pale gold highlight. I don't know why Urban Decay won't bring back powder blushes, or at least completely revamp them. I don't know why they're like basically the only brand that doesn't offer powder blushes. Like, it took them forever just to come out with liquid ones. I don't know why they still don't have powder blushes, and it's been like over 3 years or more that they've had powder blush and highlighters available. It's very bizarre, but I use them all the time. Even though some people like weren't in love with them, I really love the formula of them, especially the highlighter. It's so stunning on the skin. So I don't know, like I said, Urban Decay makes solid products. Like, they need to stop coming out with naked palettes. They need to just fill the gaps in their line, because all their other products are friggin' fantastic. So, and then I set my face with my Do It spray, and then I set my brows with the ColourPop Brow Blush Gel. And then for my lips, I just went into the shade Appy by ColourPop, one of the Luxe lipsticks. I think I'm going to be using these quite a bit the next few days. I just want to go back into them again and just use them all. So yeah, that's it. Bye. Okay, so hi. So I wanted to tell you guys about my makeup look for today. I kind of had to rush out of the house today because I had my second appointment to get the patches removed on my back. So they just removed the patches today, but I wasn't able to like wash my back until like after I saw my boyfriend. I mean, I'm not gonna be able to until tonight, but because I had my appointment at 1:40, and then as soon as I was done with my appointment, I just went to my boyfriend's house after that. So I couldn't go home and wash my back because it's kind of stupid, because he's on the way from that doctor's office, so it just makes more sense just to go there. So anyway, I primed my eyes with so I had like 2 hours to get ready this morning, which is a lot for some people, but for me, it's like, I still have to set like 45 minutes aside for, getting my makeup done. I woke up at like 11, so I ate around like 11:30. So I had like 2 hours to get ready. So I primed my eyes with the ColourPop Party Proof Primer, and then the Amico Lip Oil, of course, just to soak my lips. And then I set my eyes with the ColourPop Pretty Fresh Powder. And then for my palette today, I wanted to go into the Sun in the Sea palette by Bella Beauté Bar, because this palette is just so beautiful. So I wanted to go back into it today, and I just wanted to use the neutral shades. So actually, I only used 4 shades from the palette. So I just used this shade, this shade, this shade, and this shade. So I went into Sunbathe in the crease. Then I darkened up the crease more with Beach Babe. And then I just used Bask on the outer corner. And then I used Daydream all over the lid. I don't know why I'm doing that when I don't have it on right now, because I'll just show you guys the clip. Because again, I just didn't have time to film it before I left the house. And that's all I used from this palette today. Originally, I was going to go in with the Ace Beauté palette, but I just love this palette so much. I love to get as much use out of it as possible. It's just such a stunner, so I love using it whenever I can. And then, because I'm trying to go back into palettes that I haven't went into again, and I like using this palette at least once or twice a week now because it's such a stunner. Just trying to put it away. And then for my waterline, I just went into my LA Girl brown liner. And then for my brow bone, I just went into the Blend Bunny Cosmetics white shade, Brighter Days on the brow bone. Honestly, indie brands coming for our bag this Halloween season because there are so many amazing Halloween releases coming out. I already picked up the Odin's Eye Trick or Treat Aneshka palette, Angelica Nyquist palette. Even though I was going to skip over the two palettes and I was just going to get a couple of the lip products because I was like, ooh, I'm interested in the liquid lipsticks. But then I saw like almost every video from all my favorite influencers, Anne and Jessica's and Angie's videos, and I just fell in love with the Trick or Treat palette that I'm like, okay, I guess I need this too. So this will now be my third palette that Angie has done that I'm picking up because she is my favorite influencer. I love the color combos that she comes up with. I love her use of color. She just does stunning looks. She is stunning. She's gorgeous. And I just love the color stories that she comes out with. And I love Odin's Eye's formula. So that's why I wanted to use Odin's Eye yesterday. So anyway, Bella Beauté Bar also came out with two palettes as well. And I was thinking about picking up one of those. And then Blend Bunny's coming out with a Halloween collection. And I'm like, because I just picked up the Forget Me Not palette. So we will see. I'll see what the palette looks like because in the caption she does say there's a palette. She hasn't teased everything yet. She's only teased two of the lip oils that's in the collection. But I knew it was going to be a collection. Like, I'm hoping for a really fun cheek palette or highlighting palette. Oh my god, like a blush and highlighting palette. Let's candy floss themes because that seems to be the theme. Oh my god, it'll be so beautiful. I feel like it's almost like an extension of the pastel grunge palette. So yeah, I'm here for it. So anyway, and then for my mascara, I just threw on the Level Up mascara by ColourPop because it's just the easiest thing for me to put on because it was like 1:15 at that point, so I wanted to be out of the house by like 1:30. And then for my face, I just used, of course, the Do It spray in my Rare Beauty Illuminating Primer again. And then for my tinted moisturizer, I just went into the ColourPop Pretty Fresh Hyaluronic Acid tinted moisturizer in the shade Fair 1. And I just wanted really light coverage on the face today. And also, like, this barely takes any time to blend out. And it just, you know, evens out my skin tone in the most beautiful way. And then I just used my Hello Fab Bendy Avocado Concealer from First Aid Beauty. This is such a good concealer in the shade 0.5, so I just used that. And then I set my under eyes with my Becca Hydra Mist powder, and then I set my face with my ColourPop Pretty Fresh powder again. And then for my bronzer, I just went into the ColourPop Alviva Beach bronzer again. Even though I pulled out another bronzer to use that was right in front of me, I just ended up using this one. That's how much I love this one, so just use this because it's always my handy dandy one when I'm in a hurry. And then for my blush, I went into one of my NARS blushes today in the shade Illicit because I do want to rotate some of my favorite blushes again, so I used that. And then for my highlight, I went into the Smashbox and Casey Holmes highlighting palette, and I just mixed together all three of the shades. So we have Turn It On Pearl, Crank It Up Pearl, and Blow a Fuse Pearl. They're all pearlescent finishes, but they just are really, really pretty. So this is an oldie but a goodie. It's a really good product. Really good highlighting formula. And then I just set my face with the Do It spray again, and then I set my brows with the ColourPop Brow Blush Gel. And then for my lips, I went into the ColourPop Luxe lipstick in the shade Layover. And I actually got a compliment on this lipstick today from one of the ladies at 7-Eleven. It was very sweet. She was like, I really like your lipstick color. So that's always nice. So yeah, that's it. Tomorrow I'm just seeing my boyfriend again. And then Friday through Sunday I have some plans. So yeah, you'll see some more fun looks probably in the next video, probably not this one, because there wasn't anything too exciting going on during the week this week. Most of my plans were on the weekend this weekend, so, I mean this week, so yeah, that's it. Bye. Okay, so hi. So, just want to tell you guys about my makeup look for today. I can't with some people sometimes. Like, everybody is so fucking goddamn annoying. Like, I could care less about talking to some certain people. Like, I can't. Like, I don't care about talking to you. I don't. I'm so sick of it. I'm hungry and I'm in a cranky mood because I'm hungry. So I primed my eyes and I'm going to change my jacket because I need to leave because I'm hungry. But, I mean, I'm not going to keep this on. But I'm wearing my As If Clueless shirt. And I based my look around my shirt, obviously. So I primed my eyes with the ColourPop Party Proof Primer. And then I used the Amicole lip oil, and then I set my eyes with the ColourPop Pretty Fresh powder. And then for my eyes today, I wanted to go into the Glaminatrix Nearly Natural palette because I kind of wanted to do the pink and green look again from this palette, and it actually turned out a lot grungier than I thought, which is kind of nice because fall is approaching. It's going to be fall in like 2 days, but it's kind of cool out today, so feeling the fall definitely. So for my crease, I use the shade Untouched. Then I darken up the crease more with Down to Earth. And then I use the shade Naturally on the outer corners. And then for the lid, I wanted to use the shade Exposed. It's such a beautiful, like, light limey kind of shimmery green. And I still feel like this look is wearable. And that's why it's called Nearly Natural, because these are such wearable, beautiful, fun, interesting mattes and shimmers, and this is why I love this palette over other like neutral palettes like the Natasha Denona one. I feel like this is way more interesting for me. And then for my inner corners, I use the shade Nearly Natural, which is the signature shade. I don't know why my ears are getting so red. I just think I need to eat. So yeah, that's all I used from the palette today. And again, I think the shade Exposed was the last shade I needed to use twice in this palette, like as far as the lid shades go. And they're just so beautiful and it performs so easily. And then I used the brown liner from LA Girl on my brow bone, on my waterline. And then I just used my Blend Bunny Forget Me Not shade in the shade from that palette in the shade Brighter Days. And then for my mascara, I just used the Essence Lash Primer, and then I just used my ColourPop Act Natural mascara. And then for the lower lash line, of course, I just used my Lash Discovery by Maybelline. And then for my face, I used the Say Star Glow Super Gel Primer, and then I just used my Do It spray, of course. And then for my face, I used the Fenty Beauty Easy Drop Tinted Moisturizer, or whatever it's called. I just wanted to use the skin tint because I just wanted something a bit more matte and a little bit more coverage today, but this is just such an easy skin tint to use, so I just used that. And then for my concealer, I used the Lancome Teint Idol Ultra Wear Concealer in the shade 090, which is a really nice lightweight concealer. I don't know why I can't speak today. I feel a little off today, so. But also because I've been feeling like actually hungry again, because the last few days I haven't been that hungry, and now today I'm hungry. So, and then I set my face with the ColourPop Pretty Fresh powder again. And then for my bronzer, I wanted to go into my Fenty Beauty bronzer today because I saw Angelica Nyquist use this in her video today, and this is like one of her favorite bronzers. And also I like pulling this out for the fall time. So this is the shade Into Sun. So I just used that guy. And then for my blush, I wanted to go into my House Labs blushes, and this is the shade Hibiscus Haze. So I wanted to use that to add a little bit more pink. And then for my highlight, I went into a very old one, but I really wanted to use this today. And I kind of discovered it in the back of my drawer, and I was like, you know what? I haven't used that in so long. So this is the Makeup Geek Duo Chrome Highlighter in the shade Electrify. So I used that, and I feel like it really tied the look together with the pink and the green. But these are more so like more subtler kind of pink and green looks going on with the colors, and it's just such a beautiful highlighter. And also, like, I barely have to swipe in the pan for this to pick up. It's so pigmented and so creamy. It's such a beautiful highlight formula. And then I set my face with the Do It spray, and then I set my brows with the e.l.f. Wow Brow, and then for my lips I use the Marc Jacobs lipstick in the shade Role Play. So it has been nice shopping my stash a little bit more. I've been trying to use a little bit more of different products and use like stuff that I haven't used in a little while, and sometimes it is really nice to do that because I can get so caught up in the new eyeshadow palettes and the new stuff that I have that it is nice just to see what I actually own and use it. I really love how this look turned out. It looks so pretty. So I will see you guys tomorrow. Bye.